So here we go, Cubase sidechaining example for MUS119. I've got Cubase open and I'm going to make a new project, make an empty project, put it in my MUS119 2015 folder. And first thing I'm going to do is do a file save as and give that a name SC video. I'm going to replace that one because the first attempt didn't work. So I'm going to get myself a rack instrument. If the rack is not shown, you can click here and make sure that you show racks. And I'm going to add the groove agent. When it says, do you want to create a MIDI track? Yes, create the MIDI track. And I'm going to select drum and bass kit 01. Up it comes, and you can hear some drums. Same thing, I'm now going to select the Padshop, and in the Padshop I'm also going to create a MIDI track, and I'm going to select big pumping saws. Now in the class, for those that were in the class, we had a problem here because this was already oscillating, but we need to make it oscillate using sidechain compression. So here in this LFO, we dial this one down to 0 so we get a pure tone. Perfect. Now in the groove agent I'm going to add some MIDI. So I click on the pen tool. I'm just going to draw myself a couple of bars. Oops, I'm going to extend that to a couple of bars. And I'm going to draw myself a couple of bars for the Padshop too while I'm here. In the groove agent, you can see these are the MIDI channels set up for it. But when I play the groove agent, and we can bring the groove agent up by clicking on the E here, note where the audio comes out. It's coming out of the master. Now one of the things I want to do is I want to use my master for the main part of the kit, but have a separate output for my kick drum, which is going to control the compressor. So I'm going to just here activate outputs, and I'm going to activate output 2. You can have multiple outputs for this kit so that you can tune your own kit with EQ and other effects. And then when I go back to edit, I can make sure that the kick comes out of output 2. So now time to draw some MIDI in the groove agent, and I'm going to use the drum and bass kit, but I'm going to use the GM map. So when I click here now, I get a map with the bass drum. That's interesting. It's not wanting to play. Let's see whether we get some sound here. That's good. And now with the Padshop, I'm just going to draw a C octave. Like that. With the draw tool. All sounding good so far, so quick save. And now I bring up the mix window. Note that the bass drum, the kick drum, is coming out of output 2. Which is great, it's just what we want. So bring up the mix window, which would be devices mix console, Keystroke F3. These are the two MIDI tracks and these are the two audio tracks, and this is my voice coming in. So on the Padshop I'm going to insert a compressor. Now make sure you can see this strip, and you do setup window here, and it's the channel racks that you want to see. And then on the insert I click there, and you will find under dynamics you find the compressor, and you can begin to see the compressor working on the Padshop sound. What happens here is as soon as the sound goes over a certain threshold, a kind of automatic gain control works against the increase in sound level, so it compresses the dynamic range. but I want to activate the compressor using the kick drum sound, but make it work on the Padshop sound. So to do that, I activate the sidechain, and then I need to send some sound from out to the compressor. So under send, I add my sidechain Padshop compressor. I turn it on, so when you mouse over in Cubase 8, you turn it on there. And now when you push play, you can see that the kick drum is coming in, and now we just need to make it work very heavily on the Padshop sound. So I lower the compression threshold and I really dial up the ratio of compression to give us a pulse. So when the kick drum happens, the gain is attenuated very rapidly, and as the kick drum stops, the drone sound comes back up again. What this means also now is I can add another MIDI track. So right click here, add MIDI track, send it to the groove agent again. So that's just here, and I want to send it to groove agent main, put some more MIDI, I need a drum map, that would be useful, so back to drum map for that, and now I can just add in with the drumstick. This MIDI channel doesn't affect what's going into the compressor. Finally, if you want to alter the volume of the bass drum and fade it in, you may think about activating this pre-fade. Right click, move to pre-fader. This means now compressor works irrespective of whether you've got the bass drum sound. File save, job done.